welcome back to Velox 18. Man, it's Friday. I'm happy it's Friday. But you know, Friday doesn't mean the same thing to me as it used to. You know, like the work never stops. It never stops. But today we're gonna go and take a little drive. We got some errands to run, so I'm just gonna talk to you guys while I'm driving. At some point I gotta cut this grass. I'm purposely trying not to show you guys too much of the grass because it's bad. It's really bad. You guys, if those of you who live in the South or in Tennessee where this grass just is wild and it just grows and it just rains and then it grows and then it's sunny and then it rains and then it's humid and then it rains and then it's sunny and it just grows, you know you got to cut it like frequently. It's not like California where you're perpetually in a drought and in the summertime the grass just stops growing because there's never any water. Anyway, so let's get in the car. We're going to run down the road. Today we want to talk about, I'm just going to tell you guys kind of what I'm doing to keep my foot on the gas. Like I've said in the last video, I think any business can be profitable. I think every business can be profitable if you execute a plan at 100 miles an hour. If you're just taking massive action, you can accomplish dang near anything. Maybe not anything, but you know, any business, even with a bad business plan, can be executed at 100 miles an hour and can make you money. And so I'm just gonna tell you guys kind of how I'm doing that and what that looks like. All right, let's roll. All right, as we make our way on these errands, I just want to get into today's topics, man. Just kind of update you guys on what I'm doing, the action steps that I'm taking, the massive action I'm attempting to take to kind of ramp up this business. And like I said in the intro, you know, it's the number one common denominator between all successful people is that they're just doers. They go out and they do. They don't overthink. I'm not saying that you shouldn't plan or have a strategy, but you should have strategic action steps that you're taking to get where you want to go. So I learned that from a friend of mine. Shout out to G down in Ventura, California, Gerardo Gallegos. Everyone called him Little G, but his nickname was G. There's nothing little about him, man. He's a go-getter. I learned from him that you know, it doesn't matter, you know, how smart or how talented or how you know, how many advantages you have. It all just comes down to taking action and doing stuff. You know, there's a lot of people smarter than him, a lot of people more educated than him, a lot of people with more money to start with than he did, and yet he's built, you know, a successful business by the sweat of his brow. He's started numerous nonprofits to help his community, including the Avenida Surf. Oh, I forget, I'm gonna mess it up, but basically take kids from the underprivileged side of town who live like 3 miles, 4 miles from the beach, but who have never been to the beach, and especially not you know, with a surfboard, because you know, surfboards cost a lot of money, wetsuits cost a lot of money, and so he got all this stuff to be donated, and then he takes kids from the avenue down there in Ventura, from the west side, over to the beach and teaches them how to surf. And so he has, like I said, numerous community outreach efforts. He's a guy that everything he does is successful, and he would you know, tell me it's not that he's special, it's that he just does it. Other people talk about it, and I was one of those people. I would talk about all kinds of good ideas, and he'd be like, okay, cool, let's just do it. And you're like, wait, hold on, wait, what? You know, it was an idea. It was just an idea, and he's just like, yeah, and it sounded like a good one, so let's just do it. And so anyway, that's how I rolled. It was like learning from him that people who take action are the people who succeed in life. And so that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. Is on the sun is melting my we're good. Phone overheated. The mount was melting off of the windshield. But we're good now. Sorry, I got to keep the AC blowing on the phone, otherwise it's going to overheat again. So it's 92 degrees outside right now. It's a hot one. Still not as hot as California. Shout out Turlock, California. It's hot over there. But anyway, So hopefully you guys can hear me past the AC blowing on it. But nevertheless, so I did hire someone. This is his first full-time month. So now it's like, okay, I took care of one thing, but now because I have someone, a full-time employee running, I do need to make more money, not the same money, which is what we did. So now it's kind of like, okay, now phase 2, increase the volume. So that's where I've spent my time in the last week and a half, is attempting to increase volume. I have reached out to numerous clients or potential clients trying to get some sales work done. I've reconnected with some older clients that haven't sent me as much work, and just kind of touched base with them, asking them if they could, maybe see what's going on, make sure I haven't done anything that's lost their trust. And then we are in the process. I'm in the process with another potential client, but there's someone that's been an established client previously, that when I took over, I expected to have that volume, their assignments with me, and it's just taken a long time. I mean, I've had this business now for 7 months, and it's taken a long time for me to get set up. And so now we're at the point where that setup process should finish here in the next week or two. And so we'll have increased volume because of that, as well as reaching out to some bigger clients that are kind of shot in the dark. So I'm on LinkedIn trying to get on, trying to find the right people to talk to get into the right ear, so that I can get the right, increase the volume. And once we increase the volume up, we'll be doing well. So that's one thing I'm doing. The second thing I'm doing to kind of just mash the gas, it's probably way ahead of schedule as far as the real long-term schedule of how things should go, but because there's the economy is in the state it's in, I feel like there's an opportunity to help other guys start repossession businesses in particular, and so I'm in talks with someone to help them start in a different market than mine. Obviously, I'm not going to start a competitor of mine. And we talked through maybe what it would look like to franchise and do a good owl recovery, in their market. But after talking, kind of decided together that him doing his own thing, but me helping him start it would be beneficial. So kind of like in that deal as like a consultant. And so that's kind of the other way that I'm kind of trying to go 100 miles an hour, man, and just take the opportunities as they come. I've been reached out to by a couple other guys that are interested in doing some repos. One guy lives in Dixon. He was in the comments saying he'd love to do some. So I don't know. Once we turn the volume up, I feel like there's going to be opportunities for me to, really kind of maximize the reach of YouTube, which is just part of what I've built over the years, but also just maximize kind of the learning potential that I have in this industry, and then turn that into earning potential in this industry. So that's kind of what I'm doing. That's how we're doing it. And I really do think that as we get this other guy up and going and started, and I help him acquire some of the national accounts that I have, and as he kind of it's gonna be his business, so he's gonna have to run 100 miles an hour with it himself for us to be successful. I'm only gonna help him this very little bit at the beginning, really, but he's gotta own it. And that's part of the reason why I didn't want it to be I wanted it to be his own thing, because I want him to feel like and know that it's his, that he's the one that's doing everything, that he's the one that can make or break that business, and that I'm just helping him. And so that reality, I think, sinks in a little bit when it's your name on the door, when it's your, what I think that's the way that translates into our thinking, when we have kind of that, not just control over what happens and what we do, but also, it reflects on our name and our personal influence in the community and all of that. Like our I think that that's going to be the part that that's going to unlock it for him. He's a younger guy, and he's just going to have to run 100 miles an hour with it to be successful. So anyway, but that's how you be successful at anything, and that's what I'm talking about. So I'm going 100 miles an hour trying to do what I'm doing. I've got a number of other things that I'm trying to accomplish in the next 30, 60, 90 days in order to kind of ramp up this business. And so, you know, you look at something that I ask myself all the time is like, okay, what's the most important next step? There's a guy that calls them MINS. What's the most important next step? And that helps me clarify, you know, like, okay, if here's my goal that's in mind, what's the most important next step for me to get to that goal? And then that's what you attack each day. And that's where, like, you have your 30, 60, 90-day goals, and maybe, like, you know, the 90-day goal ends up creeping into your 30 days because, you know, just an opportunity arises. Like, someone reached out to me who was very interested in starting a repossession business and wanted me to help him out. And so, you know, that was more like my 90-day goal. But hey, you know what? Let's ramp up, do that. That's now within my 30-day view of accomplishment. So yeah, so that's kind of what I think you guys should ask yourselves. Whatever business you're into, whatever goal you have, just think to yourself, what's the most important next step for me to be successful at this? What's the most important next step for me to get to the next level? What's the most important next step for me to scale my business, or, you know, add more trucks, or you know, generate more revenue, or be more profitable? It's usually, it doesn't take a ton of brain power to figure out what the most important next step is. I'm not a super smart guy. You know, I'm smart enough, but I'm not an intellectual. I'm not an academic. I've read more bill of ladings, okay, in the last 5 years than I have books. You know, read more words on bill of ladings than I have read words on books. So I'm just a dude, just a trucker, tow truck driver, and I'm just trying to figure out how to you know, make stuff happen in my life. And I think that y'all can do the same thing. Oh, I'm so Tennessee now. Did you guys hear that, y'all? Y'all can do the same thing. Y'all can do the same thing, but you just take it one step at a time. What's the most important next step to get where you want to get to? Sometimes it's as simple as, you know, I remember back, quick story, all right, and then we're going to finish the video on this. I wanted to invest in real estate, which I still do. That's like still in the future, but I kind of started thinking down that road, and it was like, okay, what's the most important? But mind you, I was unemployed. So it's like there was a couple different avenues I could take. Number one, I could just start like hustling in real estate, trying to get my real estate license and wholesale deals, and try to like just like really dive into that. Or I could do something that was more in my wheelhouse and that would probably provide for my family more quickly. And so I chose the provide for my family more quickly and maybe the longer route to real estate. And maybe that was a bad decision, but nevertheless, that was a decision I made. But I remember that most important next step of getting to like investing in real estate and buying real estate, which now we've bought our first home. So that's a good step. You know, we've accomplished some of our goals in that regard. But the most important next step was like, get my CDL, get a job, then buy a truck, then, you know, become an owner operator, leased on, then get my, so there's been these like most important next steps that I've kind of just, as I think through what I want to do and the goals I have, I'm like, yeah, that's the most important next step. Like, get a job where I can feed my family. That's a good first step. So I did that. That's good. And then you just keep going from there, man. Just keep chipping away at it. Maybe you don't have 30, 60, 90-day goals. Maybe you have, you know, 6-month, 9-month, 12-month goals. And that's okay. Things take time sometimes. But you don't attack them with any less, I don't know, focus and energy. You still attack it with daily with energy to get to where you want to go to. That's all I gotta say, man. That's how we're gonna end this video. I almost went into more story time, but we're just gonna cut it here. Love you guys. Peace out, and take action, man. Take action. Massive action. I'm out. Hey, quick update. Running my errands, check the mail. Got 4 checks in the mail. That's always a good thing. Always a good thing. And then also got a letter. Remember I was telling you that I reached out to some people on LinkedIn trying to get set up with like a big national client? Well, I got a letter in the mail from them. Do you think it was a coincidence that they didn't respond to me in LinkedIn because they're like kind of higher ups, but all of a sudden I got a letter from their vendor management department getting me, they want to get me set up. Now, I've got to make some adjustments to my insurance. They have some higher minimum requirements and that kind of thing. So it'll take me a little bit of time to get set up with them, but take action, even the actions that seem like, you know, a long shot, just reaching out to random people on social media and just saying, hey, you know, getting in their DMs, hey man, just take action and stuff happens. So I could get set up with them. This could end up being my biggest client I have, just from reaching out on LinkedIn. So just saying, man, just whatever you think you should do, just do it. Whatever might be a good plan, just do it. It's just like a diet. It's just like a diet. It just, whatever the plan you think would work best, just do it and it'll work. But you got to do it. You can't not do it and then be like, well, I might do keto, might do Weight Watchers, might do Jenny Craig. Is Jenny Craig even a thing anymore? Might do Slim Fast. Like, dude, take your pick and just go with it. Roll with it. Roll that beautiful bean footage. Anyway, that's the update. I just kind of was like, you know what? I gotta let these people know that the proof's in the pudding. You know what I mean? The proof's in the pudding, and the pudding is in this letter, and the pudding tastes good. Tastes good.